Absolute advantage and comparative advantage in international trade. Hello everyone, today we will learn about two central concepts in international trade, absolute advantage and comparative advantage. We will understand what each one means, see why absolute advantage alone is not enough to justify trade, and discover that comparative advantage is the real key to understanding international trade. Let's start with a simple example. Suppose we have two economies, economy A and economy B, and both produce two products, milk and cheese. A worker in economy A can produce 5 tons of milk or 15 tons of cheese per week. That means if he devotes all his time to milk, he produces 5 tons, and if he devotes all his time to cheese, he produces 15 tons. A worker in economy B can produce 20 tons of milk or 20 tons of cheese per week. Notice the difference, a worker in economy B produces more milk than a worker in economy A, and also more cheese. So what can we say? That the worker in economy B has an absolute advantage over the worker in economy A. The idea is simple, whoever produces more of the same product in the same amount of time has an absolute advantage. In our case, the worker in economy B has an absolute advantage in milk production because he produces 20 tons compared to 5 tons, and also in cheese production because he produces 20 tons compared to 15 tons. In other words, the worker in economy B has an absolute advantage in both products. Now, the big question is, if economy B has an absolute advantage in everything, why would it be beneficial for it to trade with economy A? After all, it's better at everything. The key point to remember is that absolute advantage is not a condition for international trade to exist. Even if one economy has an absolute advantage in all products, it can still be beneficial for it to trade with another economy. To understand why, we need to introduce a new concept called comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is the foundation of all international trade theory. To find it, we don't look at a direct comparison of the same product between two economies, but rather at the ratio between products within each economy. We ask, what does it cost to produce one product in terms of the other product? This is the opportunity cost. Let's start with economy A. A worker can produce 5 tons of milk or 15 tons of cheese. If we divide everything by 5, we get that 1 ton of milk equals 3 tons of cheese. The meaning is, every time a worker in economy A produces 1 ton of milk, he gives up 3 tons of cheese. This is the opportunity cost of producing milk in economy A. And in the opposite direction, 1 ton of cheese costs 1/3 of a ton of milk. Now let's do the same for economy B. A worker can produce 20 tons of milk or 20 tons of cheese. Dividing by 20, we get that 1 ton of milk equals 1 ton of cheese. In other words, every time a worker in economy B produces 1 ton of milk, he gives up only 1 ton of cheese. And in the opposite direction, 1 ton of cheese costs 1 ton of milk. Now let's compare. To produce 1 ton of milk, in economy A, you give up 3 tons of cheese, and in economy B, you give up 1 ton of cheese. Who gives up less? Economy B. Therefore, the worker in economy B has a comparative advantage in milk production because he gives up less cheese. And what about cheese? In economy A, 1 ton of cheese costs 1/3 of a ton of milk. In economy B, 1 ton of cheese costs 1 ton of milk. Who gives up less milk? Economy A. Therefore, the worker in economy A has a comparative advantage in cheese production. Pay attention to an important rule: if one economy has a comparative advantage in producing a certain product, then the other economy necessarily has a comparative advantage in producing the other product. It always divides this way. What makes you relatively better at one product makes you relatively worse at the other. Let's reinforce the understanding with another example: cannons and tanks. Economy A has 100 workers, each producing 1 cannon or 4 tanks per year. Economy B has 50 workers, each producing 2 cannons or 2 tanks per year. Checking absolute advantage. In cannons, worker B produces 2 compared to 1 for worker A, so worker B has the absolute advantage. In tanks, worker A produces 4 compared to 2 for worker B, so worker A has the absolute advantage. Here, the absolute advantage is split between the economies, unlike the previous example. And what about comparative advantage? In economy A, 1 cannon equals 4 tanks. In economy B, 1 cannon equals 1 tank. Who gives up fewer tanks to produce a cannon? Economy B. So economy B has a comparative advantage in producing cannons. And in the opposite direction, in economy A, 1 tank costs a quarter of a cannon. In economy B, 1 tank costs 1 cannon. So economy A has a comparative advantage in producing tanks. Now, what does all this mean? Comparative advantage means specialization in production. When we say economy A has a comparative advantage in cheese, we mean economy A should specialize in cheese production. And when economy B has a comparative advantage in milk, economy B should specialize in milk production. Each economy produces the product in which it has a comparative advantage, and then they trade with each other. Each brings to the table what it is relatively good at, and both benefit. This model belongs to David Ricardo, the British economist who proved that economies benefit from trading with each other. Ricardo showed, for example, that if England is relatively better at producing textiles and Spain is relatively better at producing wine, both will benefit if each specializes in what it does best and trades with the other. In summary, today we learned 2 concepts. Absolute advantage is the ability to produce more of the same product in the same amount of time, but it alone does not determine whether trade is beneficial. Comparative advantage, on the other hand, is measured by comparing opportunity costs between 2 economies. Whoever has the lower opportunity cost for producing a certain product has a comparative advantage in that product. Comparative advantage points to specialization, and specialization is the basis for international trade. In the next lesson, we will see that comparative advantage is a necessary condition for trade to exist, and we will also learn about the second condition, a fair price range.